Joining me on 12 Minutes with is Ali Bahraini, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Iran to the Office of the United Nations in Geneva. Ambassador, 2 weeks into the ongoing war, Tehran and other cities in Iran are under fire. The Supreme Leader Khamenei has been killed. How do you evaluate the current situation?
The aggression continues, and the more the war continues, more attacks are made against the civilian infrastructures and civilian targets. And there is no red line, no respect for international law, for international humanitarian law, and it is a blatant aggression against Iran.
Ambassador, would you agree that it has been rather easy for the US and Israel within the first 2 weeks of attacking and the war in Iran?
No, it has not been an easy war for them. It is an observation which is accepted by everybody that the United States was suffering from a big miscalculation. They believe that they are able to defeat Iran in a few days, but the response they received was very strong.
Ambassador, Iran's foreign minister said, I will quote him, "We've had 2 decades to study defeats of the US military to our immediate east and west. We have incorporated lessons accordingly. Bombing in our capital have no impact on our ability to conduct the war. And yet the impact has been significant for Iran."
Our country has been able for this war. While we were negotiating, the advice to our military forces has been to be prepared for this war. And they have prepared themselves. Of course, the number of civilian casualties is high because the aggressors are targeting civilian infrastructures, the civilian targets. And in one individual case, they have attacked one school in Mina, which led to the massacre of more than 160 students.
Ambassador, but Iran is doing it similarly when it comes to the Gulf states, when it comes to the attacks on the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Qatar. These are also not only the US military bases that have been targeted by Iran, but also infrastructure.
No, I cannot accept that claim. Our military forces have been instructed to exclusively target military bases which are used by the United States against our country.
Ambassador, but there have been attacks by Iran on the airports, on the residential buildings, on the hotels across the Gulf states. We have people on the ground in the United Arab Emirates, in Qatar, and these people, the journalists, our correspondents, have been documenting the attacks on non-military sites.
As I told you, there might be some operations made not by Iran, maybe by United States or Israel in those countries to attribute it to Iran. But one fact to share with you is that sometimes the US military is using some locations which seemingly it is civil, but actually it is a military center. It should be considered as a legitimate target for Iran.
What would be the purpose of the US and Israel targeting these civilian sites across the Gulf?
When you are talking about United States and Israel, you shouldn't look for any reasonable argument or any reasonable intention. Their intention is to drag those countries into war.
Ambassador, Iran-made drones also targeted a British base in Cyprus, while also NATO air defense systems intercepted 2 Iranian ballistic missiles heading towards already entering Turkish airspace. What about these attacks? Why Iran is looking at the British base in Cyprus and towards NATO airspace towards Turkey?
Our officials have rejected this news about making any attack in the space of Turkey. and our president was in conversation with the Turkish president, and I think it has become quite clear for them that there has been no any attack from our side to that country, and therefore we are not going to attack any center or location which is not used to attack our country.
Does that also include the European countries where the US forces might also be stationed, or they're using them?
Let me make it clear, it has been a policy which has been pronounced and announced by our military forces. Any facility, any base which is used to attack against Iran would be a legitimate target for our military forces.
Including any sites that are in Europe?
In order to defend our country, we will defend our country according to what we need to make our country secure and to make sure that there is no any aggression against our country.
Ambassador, but within your own country, Iran is attacking its own civilians.
No.
You rejected the claim?
Yes.
But there is proof that the civilians were attacked.
By Iran?
Yes, your civilians in Iran, the protesters in Iran.
It was a complicated scenario which was planned and followed by the United States and Israel against the security of Iran. If you look at the evidences and incidents in Iran, in early days it was peaceful demonstrations which was received respect and recognition by our government. But at later stage it was transformed to a very organized terrorist activities against the security of our people. If you look at the gatherings in the streets of Iran nowadays, there are millions of people coming into the streets in order to defend the country.
Ambassador, Iran threatened to mine or blockade the Strait of Hormuz. That sent global oil prices spiking. I want to ask how Iran is going to do that, whether this is still the plan, and also, wouldn't it strangle Iran's own economy in this case?
Iran has not any intention to block the Strait of Hormuz. There is a war around the Strait of Hormuz. There is the exchange of fire. Iran, of course, is protecting the Strait of Hormuz. It should be and it can be used by everybody as far as there is no any threat, as far as there is no any war on that region. The only limitation or restraint that we will impose is on the ships belonging to those countries who have any kind of involvement in the war against Iran. Of course, the situation in Hormuz affects the global economy. We are not happy with that. It will affect the economy of Iran too. We do not reject it.
But Ambassador, it was Iranian officials who said they will close the Strait of Hormuz, and they're ready to do that.
Of course, our country is ready for any scenario, if it is necessary. What we are trying to prevent is that the U.S. navies are approaching to our borders and creating threats against our security.
What do you see as the end game?
Our purpose is to end this vicious circle of negotiating and being attacked. We want to continue our defensive action to reach to a point that the aggression is stopped. They should come to a new understanding that they cannot defeat Iran.
Is Iran ready to talk to the U.S.?
Iran has been open to diplomacy before, and it was U.S. who attacked us during diplomacy. They did it 2 times, one in June and the second time this time. And of course, Iran did not abandon the diplomatic channel. Iran was negotiating.
Is there a contact now between Iran and the U.S. now, 2 weeks into the war?
As far as I know, there hasn't been any contact between Iran and United States. Of course, there are some efforts by some countries, by some leaders, in order to reactivate the diplomatic channels, but I'm not sure if there is any serious initiative developed so far.
The US and Israel said one of the targets and the main goals there is the change of the regime, and we saw them specifically going after Iranian authorities and the regime leaders. Who is in charge at the moment in Iran?
In Iran, the political system is working very efficiently, although we have lost our supreme leader, but a new leader has been elected by the Council of Experts. I think it has two important messages. The first message is the stability in Iran. If a country is able to elect its leader during such a war. Secondly, it is a sign of continuity in our country. And there is no any vacuum in our country now.
There is, though, a confusion because we've heard the president apologizing to the Gulf countries.
The president's message was misunderstood. He said that we will not attack, and we have not attacked any base or location which has not been involved in military operation against Iran. And he was trying to explain for our neighboring countries that this is not a war against our neighboring countries.
Ambassador, thank you. I appreciate you being on Euronews.
Thank you very much.